Hey everyone, so I want to talk a little bit about how to dress and the attire needed for a hike. So today it was super cold. It was 16 degrees when I left the house, but it felt like 6 or 7 degrees, I think is what the weather app said. So we want to dress accordingly, you know, and we want to dress in a way that we're comfortable, so we will continue to hike, so we'll continue to practice. Just a personal story, I hate being cold. I absolutely hate it. But when Andrew and I took up hiking back in 2020, I determined that I wanted to hike all year round. I didn't want to just wait for nice weather. I wanted to get out, and that meant that I had to have good gear. And over the past 3 years, I've slowly added through birthday presents and Christmas presents and kind of splurging on myself from time to time so that I had the proper gear to inspire me, really, to have the chutzpah to keep going. So today, like I said, it was super cold. I had a date launch for the Mind Mountain adventure, and really this was a perfect example of how our mind can keep us from going up that mountain, can keep us from that adventure that awaits us. And today was a good adventure. I was by myself, so I just utilized this time to practice silence and solitude, which is a Rev Wild excursion that we go on a monthly basis. And I hadn't done mine yet this month because I've been sick for 2 weeks, and that was another mind thing. Like, I haven't been feeling well, but I knew I wanted to get out there. I wanted to keep my commitment. I wanted to follow through on the date that I knew was set for us to start this and launch this, whether I was by myself or whether there was 10 of you. It was going to happen. So today was the launch. It was overcoming cold weather. It was overcoming just previous illness, and I was able to do that with good gear. And so I just wanted to kind of walk you through the type of gear that you can put on when it's really cold out, just to make sure that you're safe first and foremost, you're covered, you're comfortable, and you're ready. Okay, so as you can see, I have gloves on. I'm going to start with this. This is actually what I look like during my hike. Okay, so I look like a crazy person with hair flyaways. No. So this is a turtle fur, and this just helps with the nose and the mouth coverage because it was extremely cold. And not only was it extremely cold, it was extremely windy. Okay, so I have this because I don't like that wind against my face. So this again is a turtle fur. No, turtles don't have fur. I really don't know why it's called that, but it is what it is. So and then I have a hat. This particular hat, lovely hairdo. This particular hat has a fleece lining just because it's super warm, and it just helps again with the elements. I'm going to put this back on just so you don't have to see that for the rest of this video. So then I also have gloves, but then those also nest into mittens. Now these were an awesome investment. Andrew bought these for me back in 2021, so almost 2 years ago. I guard these, I protect these. I do not let Sky and Kendra borrow these and wear these. They're kind of like a special little prized possession. So you put these on, and then you put your glove in the mitten. And what's nice is, as you saw earlier, they have these little wrists attachments that you can just have on your wrists. So turtle fur, I'm going to take that off in a minute, hat, gloves, mittens, and then a good cover. So it's all about layers, whether it's in the summertime, it's in the springtime, it's in fall, it's in winter. No, I did not say those in order. You want layers. So today's layers, this is a puffy jacket. This happens to be Patagonia. It doesn't really matter. You can get them wherever. Again, this was a Christmas present because Andrew loves being outside. He loves winter. He loves snowboarding. I've always hated it, and so I've always kind of missed out on those adventures with him because I didn't want to be cold. I'd rather just stay home and stay warm. So he was more than happy to go get me warm gear for Christmas and birthday gifts, and God love him. All right, so that was my overall layer. That was my puffy jacket, and this is really nice. Like when you go backpacking, you can bundle this up and put it in a cinch bag, and that cinches down really good so you don't have a lot of space. And then I had a vest, my Rev Wild vest, that I had on just for core and to keep my core warm, because if your core stays warm, most of your body stays warm. If your core gets cold, most of your body gets cold and your body temperature goes down. I'm gonna scare you with my hair again. Take off this. This is just, again, just a turtle fur, and it actually says turtle fur. okay? Again, turtles don't have fur. Don't know why it's called that. All right, so, yeah, this was just the vest. This was the second layer, all right? And then today I wore these overalls. They're actually my daughter's, but I couldn't find my pants that are insulated, so I just grabbed these really quick. And I'm just gonna say, it wasn't the best option, because after I was done with my walk, I went into the Y, I had to go to the restroom really bad. So before you go to the restroom, before you go hike, make sure you go to the restroom. Number one and number two being poop, okay? Get comfortable talking about poop because, well, that happens. But I had to go to the restroom, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to really go. So I had to take off layer one, and then I had to take off the vest. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to take these off. And then these got all like weird, and so these have like these side zippers, and I'm like trying to, you know, I'm doing a little dance while I'm like trying to undo these layers. So think about that. Think about the layers and having to go to the restroom, how long you plan to be on the trail. Make sure you go to the restroom before you get on the trail. You need to be drinking water while on the trail. We're gonna get into all that later. But just think, I would have rather had my other pants on today that weren't overalls, but these were also nice because it was another layer of warmth. So I guess just determine what's going to be best. And then this is my final layer. And see, I actually did get kind of sweaty in this, even though it was like super, super cold. What's next? Oh, the pants. So after we take off the insulated pants or your snow pants, then I just had regular like stretchy pants on. These are typically going to be climate gear or cold gear so that you have an added layer of warmth. And I apologize that I'm kind of all over the place. I'm trying to get my shoes off so you can see what my shoes look like. So a couple years ago, again, I knew I was going to be hiking in the winter with Andrew, and I just made an investment on some good winter boots. They're insulated. I found them on sale. That's what's really nice about right now and the time of year we're in, because there are a lot of sales for different things. So you can find things on REI, you can find things on different websites, yeah, to get your hiking gear needs. So finally, okay, these are the overalls, finally got those off, but these are my boots. They're insulated. I can't remember to what degree. I don't know if it says. No, it just says the size. But I went with waterproof, insulated. I can't remember, again, the degrees that they're insulated to. But, yeah, those are really good. Now, anybody who really knows me well, and a couple of you in here do, I love to be barefoot. I don't like socks. I typically go barefoot in the winter even. And so I'm not a big proponent of socks. I have ultra shoes, and I can sometimes hike, I know this is gross for some of you, barefoot, because it's just more comfortable for me. But today, I knew I needed to wear socks, so I just had nice little socks. I'm not color-coded, really, and that's okay. So just a good layer of socks to go with your boots, and there you go. You should be comfortable. You should still be warm, and even get kind of sweaty. Now, a little trick, before I went out, I had my breakfast. I wanted to make sure that I was fueled properly, and I drank some coffee. And if you know, like when you drink coffee, it kind of warms your body up, and then you put all these layers on, and it's like, you're like just a little nice sauna unto yourself, right? So there is my tips for the proper attire. Now, this is by no means the first priority when it comes to hiking or backpacking or camping or any of those things, but because we are in the winter months and we are starting this, it's not even winter yet, it's actually still fall. We still have another month until winter, which is crazy. But because it is cold outside, I just wanted to give you some suggestions on how to layer up so we can overcome that mindset of, I don't want to be cold, I don't want to be cold. And we can just put on that armor, right? Think about that. Putting on armor is what we're, you know, we're exhorted to do. So we can do that, and we can go brave the elements, we can go brave the circumstance, and we can just enjoy the gift and the blessing that God has for us on the trail. And today, again, like I said, it was the silence and solitude, and just really reflecting on this past year with the Lord and how he is calling me to be revived. And the theme, and I won't go into it in this video, I'll probably share it later on, over the next few days maybe, was talking about reviving my desire, reviving the desire to fulfill the blueprint he gives us, reviving the desire to be the spouse and parent he calls us to be, reviving the desire to continue to minister and love people, reviving the desire to keep our commitments even when the battles are raging. And if the battles are raging, the blessing is going to be amazing, right? So I shared a little bit more than I was going to, but I will probably share more of that later. I pray that as you are reflecting on revived, you have a sense of where you're honing in on where you should be revived, whether it's related to sickness or discouragement or feeling weak and faint or just some area that appears dead in your life. I pray that you're honing in on that. Starting today, we're going to talk about this over the next month. This will not only be the word for today's hike, but it'll be the word for the month. And we'll just expand on that. And I look forward to hearing what is spoken to you and the revelations that you have. And just what you sense you're being called to in this area of revived. And just as a reminder for those of you who do not know, revived is the first R in an acronym that the Lord has given me called Riverside. So it's RIVERSIDE. And the first R is revived, I is identity, V is victory, E is encouraged and equipped. The other R is resolute and resilient. S is spirit-led. The other I, Riverside, the other I is interconnected with other people. D is destined for a godly destiny. And then the other E is empowered. We are empowered by God to live out whatever it is he's calling us to. So this is going to be a great exploration. I pray you have a great weekend. Take care. God bless.